This is a story about how one brave country called Argentina dared to stand up against the evil queen. Dared to seek, sought and discover new land via exploration and expedition. But before that, you should know we've located the wall. You know, the ice wall. You know, the ice wall that surrounds the large, incredible body of water. And what's even better is we know how to get there. Nah. We revealed to you years ago how NASA worked hard to deceive you by cuts and edits from cameras in the sky. We showed you how airline companies deceiving you by taking you on merry dance here, there and everywhere before actually landing at its destination. So, the last thing a globe earther needs is proof, evidence and directions of and to the ice wall. So what we have here is proof, evidence and directions of and to the ice wall. Because what would a flat earth be without an ice wall? A great big, whopping, solid barrier containing all the water, so it doesn't fall off the edge. Now check out what our fellow flat earther has in store for all of you lucky truth seekers.
Good evening, everyone. I have a special video for you guys today, and this video is going to show you how they hide the ice wall from the tourists who actually take a tour to supposedly Antarctica. And there's only two tour routes from two different countries, and you're going to be amazed. Once I went to the original flat earth map from 1892, it was easy to figure out how they do it. I'm going to show you guys. Enjoy the video.
Okay, here we have the flight and cruise route for a tour to Antarctica from Planet Janet Travels. Let me zoom in on that a little better where you guys can see it. There we go. Okay, now let's switch over to this map so you can see the names. It leaves out of Cape Horn, goes past the South Shetland Islands along the Antarctic tail and then back up. Now this right here would be the South Shetland Islands on Google Maps. And then of course there's the little tail of, there's a panned out view for you guys to see it a little better. But pay attention to the tail of that Antarctica. It's going to be really important in a minute. Here's another view of the route. See how it goes along the edge of that tail and then they turn around and they go back? Okay, now here's where things get interesting. Let's look at the 1892 flat earth map. Now, this right here is South America. So let's zoom in here where you guys can see this. Now here's the route. There's Cape Horn, where they leave from. And as you can see right down below that, you have the South Shetland Islands. Okay, then you have the ice wall, of course. But notice this little tail right here. Well, that's the same tail that you see on the continent Antarctica that they show you on the globe, which is pretty slick. But anyways, this little part right here, this is the little area that they travel along and call it the Antarctica, which is only a tiny little bit. So the route goes this way. It goes through the Shetland Islands, comes down through here, past these little islands, then turns around and goes back to Cape Horn. And if you'll notice on this map how the ice wall looks, well, down here where they supposedly tour at, this is the only part of the little ice wall that sticks out in that area. So you'd be stationed there working or take a tour and you would never really see the ice wall. You only see that little piece of it that sticks out because of the rest of Antarctica is off limits. Now let's have a look at the only other tour that you can take to Antarctica, which goes from South New Zealand and back to Tasmania. Now, notice, I want you to pay attention to that little Stewart Island there as you leave New Zealand. Notice they go down here to what they call Commonwealth Bay, and then they cruise along a little bit, turn around and go back to Tasmania. Okay, now let's have a look at that route on the flat earth map. Here we have South New Zealand. And notice right there on the other side of it, you see that little Stewart Island that I was telling you guys to look at on the Google map. Okay, so the route leaves here, goes down here, which on this flat earth map it says Disappointment Bay. Remember on the Google Earth map it says Commonwealth Bay, and then they go back, return to Tasmania. So anyways, like I said, they leave here, go along this little bitty tiny bulge that sticks out from the ice wall called Commonwealth Bay, Disappointment Bay, whatever. Notice it's the only part in the ice wall except for the other part that I showed you that bulges out away from the ice wall. So anyways, they go down through here, cruise along a little bit, and then return back to Tasmania. That way you never see the ice wall. You only see that little bulge of it that's sticking out there out of this whole map. Most of this wall is cut out perfectly all the way around except for those two little spots. And they both bulge out, and then they're at the exact same spot at the bottom of both of those countries, just like it shows you on Google Maps.
And just like that, the Argentinian captain was gone, vanished into thin air, along with his crew and any hope of disclosing the truth about the shape of the earth. But don't worry, little ones. We know the Queen's secret. We know what she's up to. We know the deception taking place. It's just a shame that the rest of society hasn't cottoned on yet. Give it time. Humans are not that stupid. I'm sure by the time you grow up, the whole globe lie will be a thing of the past.